America's Mayor Live.
America's Mayor Live. You thought you could have tricked me. I was going to say the Rudy Giuliani show. This America's Mayor Live. And pretty soon, next week, there'll be Common Sense. Rudy's Common Sense is going to come back. Been off for a couple of years. And I decided that I have to have some time to go into greater detail about the background of things. And the first one is going to be with a remarkable man who led a life of crime for the first 30, 35 years of his life, was a very significant member of the mafia, probably their up-and-coming leader. There would have been no John Gotti had he remained. Went to prison, and he made a conversion, a religious conversion, through Jesus Christ. And then spent the next 30 years of his life writing 6 books, lecturing, preaching, helping people to try to turn their lives around. And that's Michael Francese. I think you've probably seen him before. He's been on many, many shows. He told me he's given over 2,000 speeches. That's even more than me. So he's been all over the world preaching really the same thing St. Augustine did. If you read the Confessions of St. Augustine, St. Augustine's crimes weren't quite as dramatic, but they were there. And he had to turn his life around, and he did. And, of course, became one of the great philosophers, one of the great theologians, and one of the great saints of the Roman Catholic Church. And really one of the leaders of Christianity, because he goes back to Christianity before it divided. And he is respected by Catholics, by Orthodox, and by Protestants. So we'll do in the first podcast, we'll do up to he made his conversion, and then we'll do the second part of his life. And you're going to find some very remarkable things about the mafia you didn't know, but much broader than that, about how human beings can change. Not always, but sometimes. So I have with me Dr. Maria, because, and I'm going to send you to her show right after this, because she'll go into more detail on this in her show. But you remember a couple of years ago, maybe it was 2, the head of the FBI then, who really was the head of the Biden Criminal Bureau that went and investigated everyone,
yes,
including
Christopher Wray.
Well, got in front of Congress, and like a nervous little rat sat there and said, there are a lot of terrorists in this country. We don't even know how many terrorists there are in this country. They're all over the place because the border's been open, and we don't even know where they are. How many are there, Mr. Ray? I don't know. A lot. I found that to be horrible. I thought one of the senators should get up and slap him in the face like they did in The Godfather, put him up on a piano, slap him in the face, they'd be a man. He should have been figuring that out the day it started. Well, for the director of the FBI to sit by while the president opens the border so every criminal in the world can come in. Like you go see the president and you say, you don't close those damn borders and I'm quitting.
Yeah, he had a duty to
protect us.
Instead, they went after Catholics who liked Latin Mass, parents who didn't like their children hearing books about gay sex or having books read to them in the 2nd grade by transvestites. So their priorities were really mixed up. But Christopher Wray, in congressional testimony, would just say there's red lights everywhere, everywhere.
That he was right about.
That he was right about, but he failed to act. He failed to properly counsel the White House and go up against Merrick Garland. And now look at what happened. So this FBI foiled a Halloween terror plot. Initially, 2 people were arrested in Dearborn, Michigan. They were young men. All of these, those that are arrested have been young people. There was somebody in Seattle, Washington, who was arrested. He too was radicalized, buying guns, talking about their hatred of Jewish people. So now a total of 8 people have been arrested. And the last 2 are from New Jersey. The last two are a little bit interesting. They're very affluent young people. They didn't grow up in any tough circumstances. They were never oppressed. They had, one of them is let's see, his name is Satarat.
Mhm.
So he's the son,
Milo Satarat.
19 years old, a son of an Iranian American who's a poet, but seems like he wasn't a radical dad, although we don't know much there. Oh, mom, that's right. It was the mom.
And she has a podcast.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to really track her podcast, but I get a sense that she wasn't a radical.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure. The other New Jersey person, the friend, is Thomas Jimenez Guzel. Now, he was a football star at Mount Clair, New Jersey High School. But again, he too was radicalized. He is the son of a mother who works for the UN. She's actually in charge of this woman leadership, building up women under, taking important roles. Yeah.
Basically, the UN uses feminization to foster communism.
Yeah. It's kind of strange. I thought that was a little bit
to create a massive hatreds and divisions between men and women.
Yes. So now there's 8 of these kids. They do believe that there's
8 arrested.
8 arrested, that there's up to 13. And the reason they think that is because Satarat and Guzel, as they were communicated what they thought was an encrypted chat room, it was discovered that one of them said, well, they'll be, and I'm going to paraphrase, well, the world will see what 13 people can do. So they were planning. Now you got to remember, radical Islamic people. This is
in New Jersey.
Quite a phenomenon. They hate Jewish people and they hate gays. So, when Mamdani, they had Jews for Mamdani or gays for Mamdani or gays for Palestine. You go to Iran and you're gay, you're going to get a lengthy jail sentence, and some will tell you will be executed. You go to Qatar, the hero of helping us get the hostages, they too will, if you're gay, you'll have a long, lengthy sentence. If you practice Sharia law, you will be killed. They used to throw them off buildings. I don't mean to laugh about that, but it's kind of a weird phenomenon how in the United States, white liberal kids all the time are for these radical people.
We have up on the screen the home
who hates gays.
I think that's Satarat's home. Look at, that's just a normal.
It's a beautiful Victorian home.
A beautiful Victorian home. It looks like a total American family. That could be. It happened. It happened one night, or What a Wonderful Life, or it's. And inside there is a kid who says, "I can't wait for the day I get to execute like 10 Yahuds." Yahuds is the Arabic
term, I guess,
bad word for Jewish people. And the other guy's mother is a UN diplomat, and he wanted to carry out a Boston Marathon style.
Yeah, and he wanted a Wikipedia page.
Bombing.
Yeah,
right.
And a Netflix series of all the evil that he did. There are some pictures there. Look like normal, except the one on the left looks a little radical.
The one on the left looks like...
I'm scared. I'd cross the street if I saw it.
Wait. On the prior show, we were talking about that GLP drug, and we said that it shouldn't be used by people that just want to become skinny anorexics, but it should be used by people who are morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Would you say he's morbidly obese?
He's morbidly obese, yes.
I would say so too.
Now, I think it was it Guzel or Satarak who was arrested at Newark Airport?
Guzel was trying to flee.
Guzel, he was trying to flee.
Guzel was trying to go to Turkey.
He was going to go to Turkey,
then
Syria to become ISIS trained. That's a fact. He got arrested on the way. Now, the young gentleman who was arrested in Seattle, they have communications between him and somebody in Sweden who is going to help fund this. So this is an international conspiracy. Remember what they were going to do on Halloween. They were going to shoot up gay clubs in and around Detroit, Michigan. So they were attacking the LGBT plus.
That supports Palestine.
Yeah, that's the weirdest phenomenon that I see. That in New York, there was all these signs: "Gay people for freedom of Palestine." You kidding me? If you were in Palestine, they'd be killing you. What are you kidding me?
Michigan. it's hard to know if, I mean, that's,
Yeah, here's the two that were arrested in Dearborn, Michigan. Yep, they have AR-15s, AK-47s, which AK-47s is not the best, and AR-15 is better. But yes, and they were all about 19. Most of the ones that were arrested were in their late teenage years.
It's really
But scary, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. When you see the intensity of the students for this movement that is so maniacal and satanic,
yes,
and you realize that they're going to be, with that many, there are going to be some that is just off their rocker.
Yeah.
And what a job! I mean, the FBI's job is so complicated.
So impressed with the FBI
and the local police.
Now, we know the one in Seattle had been on the FBI's kind of lookout list, and they never failed to do anything. And I understand you got to kind of wait for them to get so far. But again, under Christopher Wray, nothing ever happened. So I'm very impressed with Kash Patel and his agents.
Yeah, if you know who they are, you run operations against them.
Yep.
Looks like that's what happened here.
Yes.
They ran an operation against them and brought them in.
Yeah.
Now we got to get a judge who doesn't say, "Oh, poor kids."
Yeah, poor kids.
Oh, the poor kids.
Yeah.
What's the difference if they killed 10 yahoos?
Yeah.
Part of the system that is so sick, which I don't think we realized I've always realized it from the time I used to go nuts on the judges who would let the major criminals out, and then all of a sudden they go kill somebody. I borrowed that from my predecessor, Ed Koch. And every time they did it, I had a whole special press conference in City Hall devoted just to that judge. And I usually take the rap sheet. In those days, they were on paper. We didn't have.
Yeah.
So you have a guy with 48, 50 arrests.
You could hold it up.
Well, no, I threw it across the room. I would go to the back of the room. I was really good at it, too, because it was all folded up like this. I made sure beforehand, we practiced it. And I would go, and Judge so-and-so, I put a big picture of him up, let him out with 48 arrests. And then what do you think he did? Within 25 minutes, he knifed that woman and she's fighting for her life. Yeah. What do you think should happen to that judge? Should get kicked the hell off the bench.
Absolutely. But nothing ever happens to judges.
Well, they did. I didn't reappoint some. And Ed Koch got really angry at me when I didn't do it.
Oh, when you were with the third ranking?
No. When I was mayor.
When you were mayor?
Yeah, some of those judges came up for reappointment. Bam.
Hey, can I ask you a question? It's a little off the subject, but I was just thinking about it. On my show, I have Frank Morano on tonight, who won in a landslide for New York City.
Who won in New York.
But he's from Staten Island. So he did win. He's one of 5 Republicans.
They're down from 6.
They're down from 6 because a very popular Republican lost her seat in
the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
A very Democratic area.
Yep. So I remember when de Blasio was really ruining that city, like he took it into the toilet. I thought I heard from you that the governor can remove the mayor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The governor of New York, and of course, you have
to have cause. You have to have cause, right?
I don't know if it's ever happened. It's been threatened, and it's worked. The most famous one being Governor Roosevelt, later President Roosevelt, and Jimmy Walker, one of the most colorful and worst mayors of New York. Jimmy Walker was. There's a movie about him called Beau Jest, in which Bob Hope plays his part. And in the movie, they emphasize the sort of flashy part of him, which even that sort of took away from his being a substantive mayor. But he was a massive crook, taking cash left, right, whatever. And LaGuardia ran against him. He was a congressman from Harlem. He was Italian, Jewish, and Protestant, which made him a ticket all by himself. He could speak Italian and Yiddish.
Oh,
and he went to the Episcopal Church. So he ran against him. He got slaughtered by Jimmy Walker. And Jimmy Walker turned out to be a massive crook. Roosevelt now wanted to run for president. And Roosevelt knew that the Republicans were going to use the crook against him. So Roosevelt started removal proceedings. And Walker finally resigned. They put an interim mayor in while Roosevelt was running in 32. And then in 33, LaGuardia ran in a three-way race, and we got our first Republican mayor in 30 years. And the last one to remain a Republican until yours truly. Because the one in between, there's only one in between me and one Republican between me and LaGuardia, and that was John Lindsay, who ran and then 4 years later became a Democrat. And probably is one of the guys who did most of the turning the damage in the city with the Great Society giveaway programs and turned the city into a city of dependency. And you see the crime rates go like this when he comes in.
Wow.
And then they stay there until me.
And then
they come down, and now up, and now a little bit down under Adams, and you just wait.
There's probably manipulation of statistics nowadays.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to manipulate when you find the bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if our friend Elise Stefanik, I hope she wins the governorship, if Mamdani is doing things to hurt the safety of the public by just getting rid of lots of NYPD, that she could do something.
Let's say he refuses to. This would be a hell of a fight. Legally, I know the answer. Politically, I don't. You could remove any of those guys for doing sanctuary city
because it's against the law.
Completely against the law. They are saying we're not going to comply with federal law. Number one, federal law is superior in the Constitution. There's a constitutional clause called the Supremacy Clause that makes federal law
supersede.
Excuse the expression Trump, but Trump
is
state law.
Yeah.
There isn't any doubt about it. And you talk about states' rights. Well, states have great rights, like in criminal cases or whatever. But there's also federal rights. And only rights granted to the states are the ones that aren't given to the government, the federal government. Well, regulation of immigration obviously is given to the federal government. Obviously, it can't be done by states. It's for the whole country, like foreign policy. I mean, if every state ran foreign policy, we'd have another civil war. So it is they're clearly violating federal law when they say we're not going to cooperate with the federal law. And then when you look at it in operation, their lack of cooperation really becomes obstruction. So now we got a real crime committed by the mayor, the police officers who engage in it. And then people die as a result of it because people are walking the streets. So if you get a real hard ass or honest person, I mean, if I were the governor, I'd take them out on sanctuary city. So you have to notify them they're removed. Many you do it, they're removed.
And then they can fight it out in court.
And then you have like 40 days. You have to have a hearing. The governor has to have a hearing, unspecified how you get the officers, how, and the governor usually gets to
appoint.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think you can keep it out of the crooked Democrat courts. Because if you put it in the crooked Democrat courts, you know what they would do? They'd remove the governor.
Yes.
They'd make it up.
We got to make sure New Yorkers vote for Elise Stefanik here.
And you know how tough Lisa is.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I don't think she'll do it on Sanctuary City because we've let it go on for too long.
Yeah.
But this guy, I mean, I think you do a good investigation of this guy. I mean, tell me he didn't get money from Islamic terrorists.
You know he did. You know he did.
I mean,
2 days before the election, he put out a campaign ad in Arabic where 2% of New Yorkers speak Arabic. So it wasn't to the New Yorkers. He was giving homage to his funders.
There's also, and several members of Congress are onto this already, there's also a very, very good case to be made for him that he's not a legitimate citizen. Because
another Obamagate here.
No, he withheld his membership in the Communist Party. The so-called Socialist Democrat Party is listed as a communist party. You have to acknowledge your membership in any communist party or communist-related party. They're right on the list. He didn't do it. That could be grounds to take away citizenship. And I think you should do it. Somebody that lies about connection to communism. I mean, communists want to destroy us.
Yeah.
They want to destroy us.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the dumb, uneducated, brainwashed Ivy League students that make up a lot of these groups don't know that, because God forbid they should read Marx. Just like worship him, but don't read about him.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for having me on.
Well, thank you, Doctor, and thanks for
delightful.
your great explanation. The president is in a little dispute with, as usual, with the newspaper. Everything's fine. That's a very strong microphone.
Everything's fine, right?
I tell you, he's in a little dispute with everybody over the groceries, the price of groceries. So the other day when he gave his speech in Miami, he went through a whole list of things that are down, because a lot of people feel that the election was decided on affordability, and he's basically saying, what are you talking about? I mean, the average cost of a traditional Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people in 2025 is slightly down. I got this off of Wikipedia, so if they could come out the other way, they would. The average cost of traditional Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people in 2025 is slightly down compared to 2024 by about 2 to 3%. That was the latest Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute. Cheaper overall thanks to lower prices. Now, not on turkeys, but on all the side items. Now, turkey prices spiked because of the bird flu. But even with that, with a decline in supply, when you look at all of the prices for all of the things you need for Thanksgiving, exactly the same compared to last year, it's down 2 to 3%. So if you're going to look at why isn't it down 4 or 5%, it's not because of inflation, it's because of bird flu. Walmart is down from last year, from $56 to $40, and then some of the others are a little harder to evaluate, because a lot of them are offering free turkeys with qualifying other purchases. Exactly why they're doing? Probably because the price of turkey is unnaturally inflated because of the bird flu. Now, the gold standard is the American Farm Bureau survey, which you can't really tell until after Thanksgiving. But right now, it looks like it'll be down about 5%. Sounds like it's getting more affordable. There are a lot of other things to look at, and we will. And it is, however, an extraordinarily good lesson that many people, friend and foe, have pointed out that here's how the Democrats won. Here's what they won. So they won elections in three places they dominate. That is not a big surprise or a shock or anything that should get us all worried if we're Republicans. Of course, they're going to win New York. They've been doing it since they first started to cheat under Boss Tweed. And they've been doing it regularly for 170 years with a few interruptions like me and LaGuardia and Mayor Strong and people you won't recognize. The first Republican was an ally of Abraham Lincoln. Pretty good association in 1861. And the last Republican to remain a Republican was me. The last Republican elected was Bloomberg, but he changed. So I stand with LaGuardia and a couple of others as one of the few in the city that's had 111 mayors. You probably had about 5 that were Republican or remain Republican. 5. So this is a one-party city, like a communist city is. And because of that, it's a highly corrupt city. What will Mondami do to it? Mondami is going to add to that corruption something different. And hey, corruption is pretty darn bad anyway. And it's almost like living in a dictatorship when you live in a corrupt place and you can't get a fair decision out of a Democrat court, which you can't if it's a political matter. But when you start introducing the things he's going to do, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. New York comes into this very weak. They already are in a race with New Jersey and California for losing the most people. It's anyone's guess this year who will win that. I have a feeling New York will, because Mondami, I think, accelerated the flight in anticipation of him. But if we're not first, we'll be second or third in losing people. I live in Palm Beach and talk to lots of people down here, and I don't think I could get a real estate agent on the phone. Their phones are all busy. They are sitting there like saying, wow. And they've been doing it now it's been going on since everybody sort of came back after the summer. This is the traditional time of year that people buy down here so they can be here for the winter, right? So they are, God bless you, real estate agents. I mean, you're going to make a fortune. We've had one mayor on television already. We have several others down here getting advertisements ready to tell you how nice it is to live in Boca Raton, or how nice it is to live in Delray Beach, or how nice it is to live in. They'll show you how much less crime there is. They'll tell you how good the schools are, particularly under Governor DeSantis, who's made education his priority. And not only are the schools not woke, don't teach gender. They teach things like math. In New York, less than half the children are proficient in math. They teach English. In New York, less than half the kids are proficient in English. New Jersey has, in a space of about 7 or 8 years, and certainly since the time I was mayor, Florida actually was a weak educational state when I was mayor. And that really bothered Governor Bush, who was a very big supporter of choice, vouchers, charter schools, like I was. And we were very close friends until something happened. But we were very close friends, and I still have great admiration for him. He was a great governor. But he was one of the first governors that really made choice a major item. And so did I as a mayor, although I didn't have the control that I should have. I was one vote away from getting a district, an African-American district, because I cooperated very, very well with the community, making that district a pilot district for choice. Because 60 to 79% of the African-American parents want choice. And their politicians, the black politicians, as well as the other Democrats, are owned. And I say that very, very authoritatively. They are owned by the Communist Teachers Union. How can you look your community in the face when 65% want choice in education? They don't want the government to dictate where their child goes to school. They want the money given back to them, and they want to be able to use it to put their child in the school of their choice. How do you look those people in the face and say, I'm serving you by blocking it? We've got to be a scoundrel to do that. Or how about New York? When you look at these statistics that just came out, the only schools other than the Catholic and private schools that scored well on the tests, the only public schools that scored well were the charter schools, of which we have a limited number in New York. You know why we have a limited number? Because the state legislature, with the support of our poor excuse for a governor, well, not the support, she's actually trying to change it, but they override her veto. And she doesn't have the political power. I mean, can you imagine a governor not being able to rule her party in the state legislature? I mean, they laugh at her. She's there waiting to cash in on the Buffalo Stadium. Oh, yeah. I'm going to support Mandami. Do you know Mandami hates Jewish people? Oh, well, nobody's perfect. I mean, this is a real yo-yo.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see. We will see. Well, we were going to have, and we're going to take a little break now because I have to get ready. This is very emotional for me. With all the things that have happened, the biggest and most shocking that just shook up my world is that Nancy Pelosi is retiring. The first female Speaker of the House. The first Speaker of the House who actually survived 2 terms with absolutely zero natural body parts on her face. We'll be right back, and we will do a special homage to Nancy Pelosi, born Nancy D'Alessandro from Baltimore, daughter of the mayor and a member of the D'Alessandro family. We'll be right back. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Well, some of my Republican colleagues, like Newt, who I have great respect for, and others, say she was a great politician. If that's the sign of goodness, we're in sad territory here. The woman was a nasty, wicked, horrible human being. She pretended to be a Roman Catholic, yet she supported late-term abortion, which means destroying a child in the womb at 6, 7, and 8, and 9 months. She lied with impunity. She was the daughter of a political family and a very questionable family in Baltimore, the D'Alessandro family. And she acted that way. She was not a woman with any grace or any dignity. She pretended, and it didn't work. And there were any number of times in which it just broke who she was and what she was, right from the very beginning of her life to now her leaving, would just come right through. So let's see if we can take a look at. Let's see if we can. Shall we take a look at the cartoons first, or shall we?
Yeah, there it is.
We take a look. There's one of the things that's never been answered. Just recently, we found out that her net worth was up by $400 million last year. So let's stop punching her out. It's because she takes inside information, she gives it to her husband, and he trades on it to the point of obscenity. $400 million. That's just what they got in 24, because she's coming near the end. So the pigs have to really go crazy near the end, right? They got to show us just exactly. And there she is right there. That's good old Nancy. That's 2024 net worth added to the net worth, $400 million. On the top, we see her in her effort to tear up. I think there that she's tearing up the Constitution, which she did often. But the most famous one is when she tore up the speech. And there she is with her now her patented "shut up," which she says to anybody who comes and asks her a question that may be difficult to answer. Like, aren't you the one that really fixed January 6th? She is. Her daughter was there ready to film it for Hollywood. She's the one who didn't want the National Guard. Why does she want the National Guard? But if you ask her that, she'll just tell you, shut up, and she'll accuse you of being drunk.
On January 6th.
Shut up, or I'll tear you apart.
I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you. Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American.
Shout out to Allison.
Classy, huh? Right. Woman's got a lot of class. Just what you would expect from someone from the D'Alessandro family in Baltimore. Well, you'd expect even more than that. So I hope Allison's okay. Now, we got another one of those? I mean, because I don't want you to think like it was just one bad day, or like people do say she drinks. Didn't look to me. Now, I'll tell you, to be perfectly honest, I've never seen her in a situation where I thought she was drunk. I'm not being funny. I always attributed some of her talking problems, particularly before she had extra surgery, to kind of botched up plastic surgery where her mouth would go over there. It was like in 2009, 2010, I campaigned a lot against her. In fact, we threw her out of office in 2010. We thought we were finished with her. It's like the hand coming up, and she really talked very funny then. She would talk,
God bless America. Thank you very much.
A lot of class, Nancy. That's why the Democrats love you, because you're a shit. We got another shut up?
I'm looking for it. You said it before, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We got two shut ups.
See, I used to think back then that they didn't, when they put the new jaw in, they didn't put it in right. It was like this, over this side, like that. And over here, over there, over here, over there. Like that. But people say, but I think they used that as an excuse for a lot of other problems these people have. I mean, she's supposed to be a drunk, and Kamala is supposed to be a drunk, and Witless is supposed to be a drunk. I think Witless and Kamala just drink when they're trying to pick up guys, like the ad they did. Remember the ad they did at the bar? Yeah, there's another nice one. That's the Nancy. That's the Nancy that has helped to, during the Biden eras, create the darkest days for the American Constitution, constitutional law. For me, my friends, many of them, for no reason other than we don't agree with her politically. Well, she's leaving. She'll be gone. I think 400 million probably will take care of her and her husband. The shutdown is now in its, 37th, 38th day, right? Beyond, yeah. So as you know, today was the first day that, I think people have felt it, but not quite as bad as they're feeling it now. There was a very, very large percentage of flights that were canceled today. And those will just escalate as air traffic controllers don't come to work. They've already worked a couple of weeks without pay. I guess they get paid every 2 weeks. So they weren't paid for 2 weeks. Now this will be the second 2 weeks they're not being paid for. So they're really, really falling down in numbers. There's also the ones who are coming in are working dangerously long hours. So that has to be cut down. So, and of course, it's going to hit, the way they look at it, it's a 4% reduction in traffic today. That will go up to 6% by Tuesday. And it'll go up to 8% by November 13th and 10% the 14th. And then now we're starting, we're going to start getting into Thanksgiving, and it's going to go way up. The busiest airports that hit the most, the three that are hit the most are Atlanta, Chicago, and New York. But so is Logan. Logan, I think, is 5th. This is all because the Democrats will not vote for a continuing resolution that under Biden and even under Trump, they have voted for 13 times in a row, which basically just says, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it the way it is for the next 2 months and argue later so that everything can stay open during the holidays. They can fight this out later. They can do the same crazy things they want to do later that they're doing now, but at least people can enjoy their Thanksgiving. And they have voted against it now 14 or 15 times.
Let's see that at least.
To continue, it's what we call a clean continuing resolution. Is completely, and they'll even agree with this. It's modeled on the one they voted for 13 times under Biden. And now they won't vote on it because they want to hold. What is it they want to hold the Republican Party up for? I'll tell you, it's all dishonest money. It's massive amounts of money, mostly for health care, mostly for Medicaid, and mostly for illegal aliens. And if they aren't illegal aliens, they're people who aren't entitled to Medicaid. They're people who are working and are not taking health insurance. Medicaid is meant for people who don't have health insurance, not people who have it available at work, but think they can squeeze out a few extra bucks by getting the government to pay for it. And then you've got the people that aren't working and that can work. They're not supposed to get Medicaid either. It's called illegal, but that doesn't matter. They're Democrats. And finally, there is an undetermined but significantly large number, which increases as you investigate, of people who get Medicaid more than once, who get Medicaid under assumed names, who create Medicaid rackets and get it under a lot of assumed names, and continue dead accounts. by never reporting the person dead and working with doctors or phony doctors put in dishonest bills. Did you know there were dishonest doctors? I know as a lawyer, it kind of makes me feel better because they think that only lawyers are dishonest. Ha ha. Think of the pandemic, huh? Wow. And of course, because of all of this, because of government insurance and Medicaid and all of the ridiculous form filling, and people don't want to be doctors anymore. You're not a doctor now. You're a person who checks off a checklist given to you by the federal government of what you're allowed to prescribe. Because if you don't use those, you don't get reimbursed. And they may not be the best. They may be the ones who are paying the most, as Dr. Maria pointed out about the pharmaceutical companies. This is a very, very dirty industry that's gotten away with, yes, murder. And I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing a great service for America, whether you agree with him or not at every particular point. He is the first one who has had the guts to go up against him. Reminds me of his dad. Now, the shutdown, I do think, and boy, I think it'll be over, but there's still quite a ways to go before Thanksgiving. But there'll be a lot of damage between now and Thanksgiving. When I've reading off those cuts, like, at 4%, even at 4%, you think of how it's messing up flights, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
wow.
I have a flight that was canceled as a result of that, and we're going to have to move it around, and I can't do anything about it. I'm going to preside over a wedding, so I better be there, right?
Right.
The mayor of New York is allowed to do weddings, and he is allowed to do weddings for the rest of his life because the mayor of New York has an ancient title. This is how it all emerged. The mayor of New York is the chief magistrate of the city of New York. At one time, he would actually set bail and do stuff like that. I don't think I have that power anymore. But because you are the chief magistrate, like a judge can marry you, the mayor can marry you. And some prior mayors loved to do it. Some hated doing it. And LaGuardia loved to do it. And Giuliani loved to do it. The Italian ones loved to do it. And I did, as the mayor, came pretty close. I mean, I've done over 200 now. But I did about 200 weddings, and I really would love doing it. I would prepare the ceremony.
200, wow.
Sometimes I had a mixed marriage of a Greek Orthodox and a Jewish person. I did a little Greek, a little Hebrew, mixed it in, worked out the ceremony with them. I mean, I'll do any ceremony you want as long as it isn't idiotic and defiles the wedding ceremony and makes clear without doubt that this is a very, very sacred union that has to be taken very seriously. And it's at the core of our civilization. It's the first contract that was ever devised between human beings. It was devised before recorded human history. And it's probably the thing that's held us together better than any other institution. And it is under tremendous, tremendous attack now by Marxists. Since Marx took aim at it in 1850. And if you look at all the things that are under attack, and boy, I don't know if you don't want to just do an outline of Marx. Every single thing under attack comes from Karl Marx. God, parents, getting the kids at an early age, gender, immorality, government ownership, massive taxes. So you're a junior partner in your wages. The government's taking over 50% of what you earn. You're really working for the government, aren't you? A little side money for you. That'll be gone too. So we'll have to see how bad it gets, and we'll have to keep our eyes on it. But I mean the
Democrats, they don't seem to be any rush.
Yeah, I don't know if they were in these crowds. I think they'd be in. What do they use? Private planes? These guys,
right?
I mean, they're a bunch of. Yeah, I mean, just as that. I don't even know where that. I think this is Newark.
Let me get that up again.
I think this is Newark, Ted.
Yeah, I'll get it up. Yeah, get that up.
I mean, that could be anywhere.
Right.
What I'm showing there could be anywhere. It's 14 times.
14.
More than 40 Senate Democrats voted 14 times against a stopgap measure funding the government at current levels until November 21. And these are holding them hostage to Affordable Care Act tax credits that were passed under Barack Obama and expanded to ridiculous proportions, 500% above poverty. This is basically part of a very material part of the situation that was scandalous that we had in America, that you could make more money not working than working.
Right.
But we're paying you to become communists. Communism, the way communism deteriorates is there are more dependent people than there are productive people. Well, you start having more than 50% of the population not working. What are you? Now, pressure is mounted on them from unions, and the unions put the blame right on the Democrats. But the Democrats they're no longer a party of the unions. I mean, they like to keep the unions, but really, they're a party of the left-wing wackos. They're a party of the Marxists and of the Islamic extremists. That's who they're afraid of. Either they are or they're afraid of them. Look at Schumer. I mean, Schumer had to do something to. I don't know if you go through a ceremony or whatever, if you decide you're not going to be Jewish anymore. He sure doesn't sound like he's Jewish.
Doesn't sound like it.
I sure wouldn't accept him in my synagogue. I'll tell you that. Not after he double-crossed my people the way he did and put them in grave jeopardy, particularly when he interfered in the election in Israel at a time before Bibi did all the great work for us. Well, so I don't know where you are, but I have a list here. I'll read them off real quick. Anchorage, these are all the ones that are affected by the 4% cut. And then, of course, more will be added, and these people will go up to 8%, 12%. Anchorage, Atlanta, Boston's Logan, Baltimore, Washington, Charlotte, Douglas, Cincinnati, Dallas Love Airport, which is the airport from which John F. Kennedy's body was brought back to Washington, D.C. Ronald Reagan Airport, Denver International, Dallas Fort Worth, one of the biggest airports in the world, Detroit Metropolitan, Newark, Fort Lauderdale, Honolulu, Washington Dulles International, George Bush Houston Intercontinental, Indianapolis, John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, Las Vegas, Harry Reid International. Wow, that son of a bitch has a airport named after him. Wow. Los Angeles International, New York LaGuardia, Orlando, Chicago, Memphis, Miami, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Oakland, Ontario International, Chicago, O'Hare, Portland, Phoenix, San Diego, Louisville, Seattle, Tacoma, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, and even the private airport, New Jersey, Teterboro, and Tampa International. I don't know. So if you're at any of those airports, you better check and see, because one of my flights has been canceled, and I had to move it, and I hope the other one remains. And what a time of year for this to happen, right? Maybe, just maybe, that'll get them to agree to the clean resolution. I urge my Republican colleagues, friends, and the president, do not cave into the dirty money, the crooked money for healthcare. It's only even a part of the crooked money for the healthcare. Probably 20 to 30 to 40% of the money you're laying out is crooked money. You haven't touched the surface with the money you're not giving them here. This was supposed to be a temporary thing. It was supposed to not be extended. That's why it was so high, and they lied completely about it.
Yep.
Do not reinforce this kind of behavior. This is the behavior of gangsters, not of people who are patriots. And for the pain that we will avoid now, the pain in the future is going to be catastrophic for your children. the budget is in such bad shape, and the president has taken some measures, but really that work lies ahead, and it has to start with this. So let's stick with it and take whatever comes, huh?
Right.
So we'll keep you posted and we'll try to get Duffy, our friend.
Yes, transportation secretary.
The transportation.
Busy week for him.
A great prosecutor.
Great guy.
And the one I get a little mixed up on is, I mean, I go back and forth, and I think I'm strong on it right now, but I may change. And that is a filibuster thing.
Yeah.
I understand what would happen if we did away with the filibuster rule, and then the Democrats could push anything through, and we wouldn't be able to stop it.
Right.
But isn't the president right? They're going to do that anyway. I mean, they're such scoundrels. Why the hell wouldn't they do that anyway? They almost did it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Under Biden. I mean, they were this close to doing it under Biden.
Right.
So
I thought they were going to do it.
So we're taking all this pain. And not only that, I think the point that I think the president made this point, if not someone else, if we keep that there, we're going to only be able to enact a third of his agenda. Well, they'll block it and delay it. If we get rid of that, we do the whole agenda.
Yep.
And then, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if they can deconstruct it. And maybe if we do the whole agenda, the president's right. The country would be so happy we'll get elected in a landslide. Because because they blame him for things like immigration. They turned down his immigration bill. Remember, John McCain voted it down.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of things like that going on that could straighten out our economy if they got passed. If you ever got the government down to anything like what it should be, we could start working on the debt.
Yes.
So I don't know. I go back and forth on that. It probably doesn't matter because I don't think the Senate will do it. They're frightened. They're frightened that when they lose control, they're going to get pushed around.
Right.
And I guess none of them really want a chapter in Profiles in Courage.
Not exactly.
There aren't too many people in the Senate. That's why John Kennedy's book only had like 12 chapters.
Right. That's right.
Mondani, I don't know how much more can be said about Mondani. He is putting together. He is using left-wing stooges. He's using left-wing stooges to put his administration together. They are all very, very left. They are going to bring in, and I guess the best way to describe it is a radically anti-business government, so that if businesses are fleeing now, they're going to flee in record numbers very, very soon.
Stuff on the chip.
There is, in fact, a real question about how much he can do, how much can be approved, how much he can do. And the reality is that he could do about a third of it. The plus for him is he has a city council that is as left-wing and as communist as he is. The minus for him is a lot of things have to be done by the state legislature. Now, that wouldn't be a problem 2 years from now. But with Hochul up for a re-election and with the Republican Stefanik already ahead of her, she's going to be very, very loath to go too far to the left because Republicans, when they win, do landslides in upstate New York and the suburbs. So you go too far to the left, and that's exactly where you're going to get completely wiped out.
Right.
Completely wiped out.
Right.
So Hochul has to say to him, just wait.
Right.
I can't, you want me to, even this idea of taxing the rich,
Right.
She starts getting a more of a flight of wealth. The Republican numbers will go through the roof.
Yep.
Because remember, the wealthy person is paying the taxes. If you're a middle-class person, you want a lot of wealthy people. Well, then keep your taxes down. So in New York, people, the so-called billionaires, pay something like 40% of the tax. Well, suppose the billionaires get cut in half. Who pays that tax? You do. So it isn't like, oh, gee, I don't want to, why stick up for those billionaires? They're a bunch of, you better stick up for those billionaires. You're going to go broke. Where do you think the money comes from? Like the big money. Not from the guy who's working 2 jobs or the family with the wife and the husband are working 2 jobs. I mean, they're contributing, but they're contributing to the max. You take away the big money that's coming in, they go up. So this chasing the billionaires out might sound like fun. I mean, Mondami actually said he doesn't want any billionaires in the city. I mean, that's totally absurd.
Pretty absurd, right?
The place would go completely bankrupt.
Can you imagine?
How did, I mean, what is he a child? Well, I don't know.
Right.
City elders fear a worst case scenario in which stepped up raids in New York City by immigration and custom agents instigate unruly protests, which Trump in turn responds by deploying the National Guard. They're really going crazy. They're really going crazy. And you know, Trump isn't going to take any shit, right?
Yep.
He's not going to take anything. You know, the stupidity of his going after the president, Trump or any other president. I can't think of a mayor in a big city ever successfully going after a president. I can't think of one going after a president. I mean, you're stupid. The president holds the key to maybe 25% of your revenue, maybe 30. When you consider the programs, maybe even more than that. He also has the key to open investigations on you. And Mondami has to know that we could just take all the programs in New York City and put them over here, and I could throw a dart into one, and I'd give you 90% odds I'll find crooks in that agency misusing federal money. This doesn't come from a dreamer. It comes from somebody who did it. A lot of them. Like sometimes I'd arrest 140 people, right. 150 working for New York City, stealing federal money.
Right.
Why do you think the budget of New York City is the same as the budget of Florida? New York City has 8 million people. Florida has 21 million people. They both spend about $130 billion a year. That can't be. What's all that extra money for? I mean, I don't even have to answer it, right? And anybody I have to answer it for, please go back to school for remedial reading or something like that. I don't mean to insult you, but you need help. Well, I don't know what else to say about Mondani other than this may be like Bernie Kerik said about Adams to me.
You think?
Approximately the same time in Adams.
More like Koch? Like, is he going to be letting this happen around him, or more like Jimmy Walker where?
Oh, I don't think the problem with Mondani is going to be corruption.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. Well, maybe,
yeah.
But I'm not, I think the problem with Mondani is going to be how he's going to ruin the economy and the society of the city. Okay. It's going to be no more charter schools. So the schools which are going down down to 27th in the country when they used to be first and second and third. They're going to go to 35th. If we lost 30,000 people last year, we'll lose 50,000 people this year, and they'll be richer people.
Right.
And he'll be really happy. He's chasing out the billionaires. Meanwhile, there'll be nobody to pay the taxes, and he's got to raise it. Where's he going to get the $10 billion? Trump's not going to give it to him. Hochul's not going to give it to him.
He's got
to tax all those kids in the city who think he's so wonderful. Yeah.
Wonder what they're going to. Let's see how they feel.
It'll be affordable, but you have no money to afford it. I mean, you got to have money to afford something. And if he takes it all from you, But you can go to the free grocery store. I mean, remember the lines in Russia with the free grocery stores?
Right.
Yeah, everybody was starving. Maybe it'll solve the obesity
In Russia,
problem.
yeah, the end of the
This will be his answer to the obesity problem. I got to tell you, I really am pissed off at Rand Paul. I've had it with him. They had a measure. Luckily, it was voted down to stop Trump from taking out the drug boats that are coming in from Venezuela.
right.
Best thing that's happened for drug enforcement in a long, long time. Every boat means another maybe 1,000 kids alive.
Yeah.
So the Democrats, of course, all voted against it because the Democrats are in favor of kids being drug addicts. And they want to give them drugs, free drugs. In my city, Adams thinks it's the best thing in the world. Thinks we could have had we have a great economy based on drugs, gambling, and prostitution.
Right.
That's really a great economy. Every Republican voted against the resolution to stop the president. They want to stop the president from enforcing the law. Right. And they're doing this whole thing like he's using the military against drug dealers. We've been using the military against drug dealers since I've been in law enforcement. That's exactly what we did in Colombia. And that's how we wiped out the FARC. And that's how we wiped out the cartels in Colombia.
Right.
The Los Angeles and New York Police Department can't go to Colombia. And the good governments like Colombia will cooperate with us. Meanwhile, the president of Mexico is, I don't want to say the word, but she's scared as hell that we're going to go after the cartels. Why doesn't she go after the cartels? Do I need to answer it? Do I really need to answer it? So I think she's next, and she is mushy. Did you see Claudia Sheinbaum lately?
Yeah, a little nervous.
But Rand Paul and Lisa Murkowski joined the Democrats in supporting the resolution. So it was 51-49.
Right.
As a matter of principle, they want to expedite the drug boats coming into the United States. What the hell was wrong with Rand Paul? I had turned around on him. Remember, I ran against his father. Right. I really made a fool out of him. But one of the great moments in the debate when he was blaming 9/11 on us. Right. Just like the Islamic extremists did.
Right.
And luckily, I was the next one to go, and all my adversaries were so angry. They said, you were so lucky that you got a chance to do that because you won the debate as a result of it.
Right.
McCain wanted to do it. Romney wanted to do it. I just blasted the shit out of him, and his answer was, I
gotta find that. What was this?
Basically, that's the way he talked.
You gotta find that clip. 08 debates.
Yeah. These guys that become isolationists, they get crazy. I understand we got to be really careful about using our military power, but if we get too careful, we won't be around anymore. Don't they recognize that there are forces in the world that want to destroy us and are spending billions of dollars in order to do that? Ireland has a left-wing communist president. That's nice. Ireland. Poor Catholic Church.
Right.
Oh, boy. Well, we're getting to the weekend. I want you to go over and see Dr. Maria because she's got a lot of stuff on the Islamic extremists. I think that this weekend, what you can look at is what's going on in Argentina. We have a fleet. We have a fleet there that is massive. We went over it and outlined it for you last night. But suffice it to say, we have the largest and the most lethal aircraft carrier ever to exist in the history of the world, right outside of Venezuela, the Ford, USS Ford. Yeah, China has nothing like it. Russia has nothing like it. Venezuela wouldn't even know what it was. The Venezuelan military the other day were leaking to the press that if Trump does any form of an invasion, it'll be over in about 4 hours. because they're a bunch of bullies. They can't fight. All they do is fight the women and children and put them in jail and beat them up and rape them.
Right.
This has been a regime that's been around for too long. The guy is making billions selling drugs and killing kids in America. It's time to get him out. I was going to do an analysis of the football because in the Wall Street Journal, they got a great article that the football was changed to make field goals easier.
Right.
And the way the football has been changed is the league would hold on to the football and then give it to the teams at the time of kicking. And the referee would stay in possession of it. Now they're going to give it. Now they give the football to them several weeks before, and they don't have them. At one time, the teams supplied the footballs, and the teams had really screwed up the footballs tremendously. Like the even for passing, like the football was like too solid, and the ends were too tight. So they softened out the end so it would be easier for the quarterback to get it into his hand and easier for the receiver to receive it, all of which, of course, helps the offense. Now, kickers don't want to kick a hard football.
Right.
It needs a little softness for them to direct it. So you know what they do when they get the football? They put it in hot water.
Right.
They'll even try to put it in an oven if they can make sure it doesn't burn. Or they'll deflate it completely and inflate it again, but not completely. And those will be the footballs that are used for kicking. And that's what was allowed this year. And you can't believe how the statistics are up. We broke the kicking record.
Wow.
Right? On Sunday, Jaguars kicker Cam Little broke the NFL record by nailing a 68-yard field goal. And these days, that's barely an outlier. There have already been 7 makes from 60-plus yards, the most in a single season. And we're only 9 weeks into the season. I mean, 60 yards. Wow. But they were allowed to kick a softened up football. So if everybody cheats.
Yeah. Can't get away from it, even in sports.
So now
obviously.
they're looking for a 70-yard field goal. But the 70-yard field goal might really be the result, not of just the kicker, but of who manipulates the football better. And even if you're going to manipulate the football, the league should manipulate the football.
Right.
So it's uniformly manipulated for everyone. So before the game, the two teams can examine the football, and both teams get the same football to kick. Where is this? You have a private football. No wonder that gamblers can get into it when they don't use basic rules of fairness in the game. But I mean, that NFL is so woke. No Super Bowl this year, right?
Easy for a Giants fan this year. Yeah.
So I'm going to read this more carefully and do research. But there was a great article in one of the Wall Street journals recently about purgatory. And I'm a big fan of purgatory. I think there's no way I'm getting into heaven.
Oh, stop it.
So
You're going straight to heaven.
I also think there's a lot of interesting people you can meet in purgatory.
It might be a little bit more interesting than heaven in some respects.
You want one people who never had a drink or don't smoke cigars.
Right.
I mean,
we're not Amish. We're allowed to do some of those things.
In heaven, you might not be able to smoke cigars. In purgatory, you
Probably
probably can't smoke cigars. And then you can kind of get used to having to give it up to go to heaven. But like all of a sudden, you're giving up cigars, and so I'm in favor of purgatory. Now there isn't the greatest biblical support for it. There is some, but there isn't the greatest biblical support for it. But this article by Joseph Bottom is a very, very logical argument that there has to be a purgatory. I can't quite figure it out yet, but I agree with him so much, I'm going to work on it. I think this guy Bottom is right. And I got very nervous when there was, I don't know if the Catholic Church has said there is no purgatory, or no, they haven't. They sort of said there isn't really that much biblical support for purgatory. And Protestant religions sort of divide in half on whether there's a purgatory. So any of you Protestants that are in a religion that doesn't have a purgatory, you better be perfect or you're going to hell. So this weekend, please spend a little time relaxing. It's been a tough week. That doesn't mean anything. It's going to be a really strong week next week. And we've got a great president. I'm very fortunate that we do, because if we didn't, and we've got a great country. So pray for the people of Israel and pray for the people of Iran, because they should be free of the reign of terror. And pray for the people of Ukraine who are being needlessly killed. There's no reason for any war anymore except bloodthirsty Putin. And pray for us, the people of America. And for the president, who has the weight of the world on his shoulders, but carries it really, really well. So we'll see you next week, 7 o'clock on
Lindell TV.
NX, and 8 o'clock on America's Mayor Live. And next week, I'm not going to tell you the day yet. It'll be Tuesday or Wednesday, probably.
Yeah.
We will be resuming Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense, of which there are about 280 episodes. We'll get the exact number because this is going to be the next one. And it'll be an interview with Michael Francisi, the former one of the leaders of the Colombo crime family, who turned his life around midway and has become an author of 6 books, 2 bestsellers, a very, very fascinating speaker, and also, I would say, a religious leader. And you'll find out how this man went from the worst kinds of crimes to the highest level of helping other people. Very fascinating interview. God bless you. And God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason